What's going on, everyone? I'm Travis Brown with the Eagle. This isn't Robert Cessna for once. This is Justin Lee. He's a little bit younger, a little bit less gray hair. He's with the Auburn Opelika News.
He's still tall, though.
You are still tall. I'm still short.
There.
So there you go. Auburn Opelika News, Lee, sister paper to the Eagle, covering Auburn. They were here all week. Justin's here the last couple days, or will be here a couple days, seeing what's going on today, covering Auburn tomorrow. Let's start with today.
Sure.
As we will get to, there was a lot of A&M news today with Ainias Smith, so I was a little in and out. What did you hear from, especially Kentucky? I know that's what you're kind of honed in listening to today.
Yeah, that's what we came up for. I don't know, man. I thought, I put it on Twitter. I became that guy who just tweets random tidbits from the press conferences that nobody cares about. But I thought he was asked by the legend Bob Holt, about passing Bear Bryant's Kentucky all-time wins record. And he was like, well, there'll be a time for that because he's too short. So he's one away from tying it. So he's going to get it this year as long as he gets 2 wins. But it was pretty cute. He said that, he's most worried about is his mama, who has to be getting up there in age. He's going to be really proud if she can make it and if she can, if she can be there, because then she's going to have 2 sons who have all-time win record at Power 5 programs, and Bob and him. So I thought that was really sweet. He was like, well, the main thing is just it'd be really cool if mama makes it. So
yeah.
So yeah, and then he, what was great about Mark was he was just brutally honest as far as hey, Georgia won the East last year and it wasn't close. Like we were second, and there was a pretty big gap between first and second, and some of that honesty is refreshing at a thing like this where all we're going to do is talk, so you might as well talk honestly, right? So that was cool.
Yeah, you also had Billy Napier here from Florida, new head coach.
Yeah.
Another guy to get asked about what did he learn from Nick Saban, because there's a lot of those guys in this conference, and of course a lot of the party lines of talking about attention to detail and all of those things. On our side, on the A&M side, of course, the news today that Ainias Smith was arrested last night for DWI, possession of marijuana and a weapons offense. Weapons offense, of course, stemming from the fact that he did get pulled over for a Class B or Class A misdemeanor, Class B being the DWI and the marijuana possession charges. So because he had a firearm in his car while doing those criminal offenses, that's where the firearms comes from. He did get breathalyzed after failing a sobriety test, field test, sobriety field test, and he actually blew .06 twice, which is below the actual legal limit of .08, but he did fail the field sobriety test, and that's enough for probable cause, according to some of the law enforcement people I talked to, sources I talked to on that. So if for some reason he can get either of those charges dropped, the weapons offense goes away, but he did have less than 2 ounces of marijuana in the car and was charged for that, was arrested from jail today, suspended by the team, according to team policies and according to the athletic department. He will not be here tomorrow for SEC Media Days as previously scheduled. That's the big news on the A&M front. So while we have you here, since A&M and Auburn are going to be on the same day, we're going to be pretty busy with the A&M stuff. Let's talk a little bit of Auburn football. What are the main storylines that you're going to be looking forward to tomorrow, and that we'll probably be hearing from the gathered media as it relates to Auburn?
Dude, you know what the biggest story is? You can find it on Twitter. There's a photo of Brian.
Look at this phone. Hold on.
Yeah.
He's got the fancy flip. Okay, sorry. I just had to. I'm gonna have to investigate that later.
It's a good look.
What does the big Twitter have to say?
If there's this photo of Brian at a high school convention, and it must be the lighting, but it looks for all the world like he has a mohawk. I'm like, Brian, listen, show up here with a mohawk. It would be Peacock on SEC Media Days. Everyone's trying to be the best dressed. Just show up in a with a mohawk. Would it
updo the Shane Beamer Soldier Boy video?
I think it would overdo everything.
Sure.
That'd be incredible.
Sure.
So listen, Brian, if you're listening, and I know you are. I know you're tuned in every
week.
Brian
College Station.
Yeah, every week. Just if you don't have a mohawk, make it happen before you get here. That would be good. So yeah, that's the big question on Auburn Twitter's mind. But no, there's a lot of questions for Brian this year. Ultimately, I mean, it's one of those seasons where everyone's gonna, we'll see what this brilliant gathering of minds here, where they project Auburn in the West. but it's going to be close to the bottom. And if they finish that way, there's going to be hot seat talk. So it's just this year. It's a matter of what the expectations are, and how high Auburn's expectations on the inside are a lot higher than the expectations are on the outside. And he's going to have to break expectations, or else people are going to get uncomfortable. And it's just a matter of how fast.
But things are already a little bit uncomfortable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because, we had this whole, there's boosters, there was things going on in the background.
Yeah.
How I know there's
he almost lost to Georgia State, and he blew 40 straight points to Mississippi State. Those were terrible all-time bad performances. They were. And he should be able to say that pretty comfortably, because it was.
And I mean, we're several months away from votes of confidence and things that were going on. How much is that going to play into tomorrow, the season to come?
Oh, he's going to be asked about it by the national media here, because it's not just local. We got all our questions in already locally. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to be a big story tomorrow as far as how he answers it, but he would just answer it the same way he did, that they've moved on. That everyone's more, he put a lot of blame on COVID, and you hate to use the word blame or whatever, he wouldn't use that, but it is. He was like, when we first got here, it was COVID and we couldn't do these team bonding activities, and since then we've gotten together and we've gone to paintball and we've gone to the lake, and these sorts of things that a new coach and a new staff, he says, would have done then. So he thinks the team is more together now than they were before. So I mean, take it for what you will, and we'll see how much how much that translates into wins this season. I mean, for Auburn, to me, there's a flow chart of if you win this many games, this happens. If you win this many games, this happens. If you don't win this many games, this is what's going to happen.
So from the Auburn perspective, help me out here. Who are the Auburn quarterbacks who have beaten Alabama?
Quarterbacks who have beaten Alabama, like since Nick Saban?
Yes.
Jarrett Stidham. Nick Marshall.
Nick Marshall.
Cam Newton.
And
Bo Nix.
Well, and Zach Calzada.
Oh my gosh!
So I know the A&M
what
fans.
A segue.
I know the A&M fans will want to know, where does he play into Auburn's
Listen,
picture?
man, if you're asking me, I have told Auburn fans this offseason, you better hope Zach Calzada is your starter. You better hope it's him. You better hope that he is playing up the potential that he can play at, because he saw it when he beat Alabama. You saw the potential he could play at. You want him playing at that potential, and you want that as your starting quarterback at Auburn. So, they were hoping for TJ Finley to make leaps and bounds this past offseason. Don't know if he did. They brought in Robbie Ashford, who's kind of an exciting pick because he was a big star at Hoover, which is the closest thing we have to Texas high school football, the powerhouse Hoover. Closest thing we got to Allen, he went to Oregon and then transferred back to be close to home. That's exciting. He's a baseball guy. He can throw hard, but you've seen what Zach Calzada can do. I think if you're Auburn, you would want Zach Calzada to be the day one starter, and for him to be as good as he can be. And that's just my opinion. That's just my thing. But obviously it's going to be open competition. It's going to be like who's getting the reps, to start with. But I would think, Zach and TJ to start. And then Robbie Ashford's probably a third.
Storylines for Texas A&M tomorrow, of course, is going to be Anaya Smith and who replaces him, but also going to talk through some of the recruiting trail. A&M, at least last checked, was about 61st in the nation, had only 5 commits compared to last year's record-breaking class. I know, of course, Coach and can't talk about actual individual recruits, but we want to get an update probably on the overall scope of recruiting from him. Quarterback battle, Haynes King, Max Johnson. We got to talk to some of the LSU players about Max Johnson a couple days ago, where that's going to play out. And then just overall defense with DJ Durkin coming in. We've talked to him a little bit about that, but where that's going. So that'll be a few things to look for tomorrow from the A&M perspective. You got anything else? You got any other tidbits of wisdom, questions?
Are we gonna have another NIL blow up, or did we get all that out of our system?
I think we got that out of the system.
Between Nick and Jimbo.
I'm sure it's, no one actually asked Nick in this room about the blow up. It was actually over in the other room. It was our buddy Tyler Shaw from KBTX in College Station, who I went and played putt-putt with on Sunday night, and we kind of jokingly said whoever lost had to ask the question. So
really?
he lived up to his, it was a joking bet, but he lived up to it anyway. So way to go, Tyler Shaw, my buddy over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, you good?
Yeah, man, we're good. I guess I'm excited to be here. Talking season. Here we are.
You mentioned Hoover. This is usually in Hoover, Alabama.
Yeah.
We're in Atlanta this year in the beautiful College Football Hall of Fame.
Yep.
What's your preference?
I mean, Hoover's a nice drive, and I can get to sleep in my own bed. But hey, no, it's all good. I mean, Atlanta's not far either, so it's a nice plunge change of place. I like it in here. I wore my flip flops today, so I can just stand.
It's freezing in here. I don't know how you're doing that.
Well, I can just stand on this nice turf. You can see the fake turf we have.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Pretend I'm kicking a field goal. I don't know. It's whatever. I'm in and out like a ship in the night. So we'll see. I successfully avoided a lot of media days. I think last year was honestly my first one. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I managed to get someone else in every time.
I miss Dave & Buster's. I'm a big Dave & Buster's guy. Right next to the hotel. But the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the media last night was great too. So anyway,
we're going to wrestling tonight, so I'm getting out of here.
Fantastic. Yeah. Where of course, where can they find all your stuff?
By Justin Lee on Twitter, and then obviously our company account is OA Now at OA Now, Opelika Auburn Now, and then AU Blog is another good one. AU Blog, that's a good one to follow because it's automated, so you only get a couple tweets a day. We're not gonna flood your timeline. So if you're a Texas A&M fan, you just want to be plugged in, but you don't want to hear me talking about wrestling or whatever, follow AU Blog, and you'll just get a couple articles a day. Not going to flood your timeline, and you can have a fun time.
Good stuff, and of course, sister paper, like I said, to the Bryan College Station Eagles. So we always do a lot of stuff. Glad to see his face, and we just hired. We just got the transfer portal.
Yes.
Jacob Weiss, our new high school reporter, came from the
Dr.
OA
Weiss.
News.
Yeah.
So transfer portals in effect everywhere. So anyway, way too much from us today. We'll be back tomorrow with Robert. Or actually, I'll be back with Alex Miller tomorrow for the My Aggie Nation podcast to break down what A&M had to say. So check theeagle.com for everything today, and we'll see you tomorrow.